Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Winter is Coming Live, the official Game of Thrones after show of winteriscoming.net, brought to you by Entertainment Weekly. This week, we are talking Season 5, Episode 8, Hard Home of Game of Thrones. My name is Adam Rady, and I like candy and cookies and cake. To my left is Alison Haislip.
I also like candies and cookies and cake.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And to my right is Xavier Brinkman.
You never know what he's going to say, and I panic, and here I am.
Do you like candies and cookies
and
cake?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Okay,
Let's
great.
go with it.
I had a good one. I'll use it next time. Before we do get started, though, however, I did want to give a shout out to the fans out there who have written in using the hashtag WIC during the show and after Game of Thrones so that we could answer your questions. Bravo to you, and also to all the fans that are commenting on our episodes on EW and winteriscoming.net and YouTube. Just want to give a special shout out to you guys. Thanks so much. You guys actually make the show a lot better with your comments and your questions and even your corrections, because the show is made better with all the knowledge and all the interesting things you guys have to say rather than just the three of us. So
I wanted you to say bravos to you.
Oh, bravos.
Snap. Game
Oh.
of Thrones puns left and right. What?
that we'll get some comments on that one, Allison.
There's got to be some hate comments.
Sorry.
So use that hashtag WIC. We'll get to your questions and comments. Thanks so much. Let's start with the greatest Lannister killer of all time. Tyrion Lannister. How cool was that?
I love the Tyrion. Sorry to interrupt you. I love the Tyrion just goes in and takes control of a situation. Like his head's on the chopping block, like almost literally, and he has her going, so am I good enough to be, for you to advise me? He turns it around so he decides whether he'll work for her or not.
Right.
It's great.
I feel like we do not get a bad Tyrion scene, ever.
No.
Every single Tyrion scene is like hilarious or poignant or important, or they're just
like
all
dead.
So good.
He's just dead on. Correct.
What a cool little how he slowly is making his way up towards the throne the whole time too. Because I kind of saw like right at the beginning he was like, well, maybe I'll try to take a step up.
Right.
Then he's like, well, maybe I'll try to take a couple more steps up.
And he very smartly physically separated himself from Jorah, knowing that Jorah was not going to benefit him. But at the same time, not just like throwing Jorah under the bus.
And I loved his little lines in there when she was like, well, why did you bother to come to meet me? And he's like, well, you've got wealth, lands, and an army really quick. I thought you were worth meeting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I was wondering, same with you. I mean, yeah, I think he did a really good job of just sort of introducing himself and giving himself a position of power. I also thought it was interesting, his dynamic with Jorah, what he did. Like, he didn't get him killed, but he also didn't help him out. He's like, yeah, cool, throw him out. And she just did exactly what he wanted.
Well, I think he knew that if he still helped Jorah out, that he himself would not be placed in a good position, that Daenerys would never actually trust him. He had to separate himself, make them look like separate entities for her to actually potentially take him under her wing in a way.
I guess that Jorah did kidnap him to start with, but it seemed like they'd become quite good little buddies. So I wasn't sure.
Well, I actually think that was the only way Tyrion could have handled that situation without Jorah losing his head.
Yeah.
I think that he had to side with Dany in the sense of like, hey, you do have to get rid of this guy, but you don't have to kill him. And I think that resonated, of course, with Daenerys because she always. Not always, but there are times when I think clearly mercy or wisdom is valued to her much higher than brutality.
Yeah.
And vengeance or revenge or whatever it may be. But one thing I did want to mention was that obviously Jorah leaves and he's like, I'm going to go fight for this. I'm going to go fight for the queen.
He went back to the slaver.
Yeah, he says, I'm going to fight for the queen, but you can own me, basically.
Right.
Which was kind of interesting. So clearly we're probably going to see more of Jorah in front of Daenerys.
Right.
What do you guys think his plan is?
I think he knows he's on death's door with the grayscale, so I'm guessing he wants to make one more
exit.
Heroic exit. Is he planning on putting himself in death's way in front of her, or is he wanted to prove himself to her one more time?
I'm curious to see if we'll see the same Jorah in the fighting pits that isn't killing everyone. You know what I mean? I'm curious if he makes himself into basically like her champion, the queen's champion,
right.
That doesn't go kill people. I don't know, just I'm wondering about that.
Because he obviously knows her, and he knows that she would probably respect that, right?
Yeah, well, I think he knows she doesn't.
What's the rules in the fighting pits? You have to kill him?
No.
I guess it's just called a fighting pit.
Okay.
So you just have to fight.
I think he can just take him out like he did in the previous fight.
I guess.
He just knocked a lot of dudes unconscious.
Yeah, the thing, though, to me that was the strongest scene, maybe of the episode, and I realize that's saying a lot because there was clearly a big, huge battle and a lot of stuff going on, but maybe the strongest scene to me was Tyrion and Daenerys sitting, drinking wine, discussing what, are you going to kill me? I don't know. Or am I worthy enough, for you to serve? I thought that was a really strong scene, and there are those scenes in Game of Thrones where you just kind of sit there and you just sort of like get lost in them, and you're just watching these two actresses work off of each other, and it's pretty amazing. And I thought that was another one of those scenes where just so much is being said in the lines and between the lines.
Well, and how incredible was it that Tyrion actually suggested to her that she not take over the Iron Throne? He's like, you're doing an amazing job here. Do your work here and let the Iron Throne take care of itself. And then she comes out with that great line, like,
About spokes on the wheel.
yeah. Like I'm not going to stop the wheel from turning. I'm going to break the wheel. And you're like, yes,
And
Danny.
did you guys see that was in the trailer for the whole season? So
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
bit of
clearly
a
we're
pretty
building up to
pivotal
that.
moment of the season for them to it was a main feature of the trailer.
Well, I like Tyrion's setup to that too, when he was like, yeah, how was that ruling without the rich before? Because by the way, you're sort of gonna need Baratheons and Starks and Lannisters, and you don't have really any of them. Maybe you could get
The Tyrells.
the Tyrells, but
Right.
who's to say? And she's like, yeah, look, I don't care about them. I'm just gonna run all of them over,
Yep.
basically.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
I know.
So-
Go Danny.
So Tyrion's there now. You guys are feeling good about this, and he is her advisor, not the hand of the queen yet,
Yeah.
but that's
I
my
just like
prediction.
seeing this crossover of worlds. We've always seen
Yes.
Daenerys is always has been. We don't have like you can't judge distance, but she's a long way away, and then you've got all the stuff happening in King's Landing. It's kind of just cool to see
Well,
the
and,
two
they've
cross
never
over.
met, and she doesn't even remember, obviously when she was a baby, when she was born, and having to flee and everything. And it's sort of like, he's like, oh, I trust Varys, and she's like, yeah, the man who's been telling all of my secrets. Oh, I trust Jaime. You mean the guy who killed my father?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, oh
Right.
crap.
Yeah.
But these
But
people.
you're right. Yeah, we've been watching their stories separately for 5 seasons now.
Yeah.
And now they finally have started intertwining, which is very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Xavier,
Yep.
I have a
What do
question.
you got for me, bro?
I have a question for you. Are you thirsty?
Yeah.
Then you should confess. Ha! Yes, did it.
I fell right into
Man.
that. I was like, not really.
Segue king.
I know.
Here.
I saw you look at your water like, I
I
have
was like,
water too.
I'm good.
so-
We're filming here. You really want to get a drink now? Adam, come on, mate. Let's show some professional.
Segue
man.
king.
All right.
We jump.
well done.
We jump into Cersei being in the dungeon with the septa, continuing to offer.
ruthless.
Yeah, continuing to offer her water, but only if she would confess.
How awesome is it to see, for the first time, to see Cersei like not completely put together?
How great was
and
it
to
to
see
see
her
her
be weak?
like licking water off the
Yeah.
stone ground, like literally hitting rock bottom? Huh?
Right. Oh,
See what I did? See what I did?
told
I
you
know-
Game of Thrones puns left
I
and right
announced
this
my-
episode.
I'll congratulate myself.
No, I think.
Carry on.
I mean, I would say we can't be the only ones that are excited to see Cersei get some comeuppance. And I
Right.
mean, I guess the question there is like, is this enough? Do you guys feel like that she is getting everything she deserves, or could there just be more? Could it be worse? Could it be?
Oh, I think it
worse?
absolutely could be worse because I feel like at this point, to me, I feel like there's a way out for her. Like
Yeah.
she's gonna figure something
Well,
out.
she even
She's
said
probably
to
going
her-
to torture whoever, the lady.
Yeah, she even said to her, she's like, I'm going to get out of here.
Right.
And when I do, I could make you really well. I really thought it was fun seeing her breakdown. Because at first she was just very stubborn, and then she was like, look, I could totally make you rich.
Right. Yeah. She tried every different way to
Yeah.
manipulate this woman into letting her go.
Yeah.
Yeah, every way that she could try. And, something that we mentioned last episode with Olenna and facing the High Sparrow, where she just had no idea how to combat him because she'd never dealt with that foe. Cersei has no idea how to
Yeah.
deal with this because she's never...
Met anyone that would
Yeah.
be having
Right.
an agenda. And I love that, that when they're explaining what Tommen's doing, and it's like, oh God, he's so furious. He's not eating all of his meals.
Right.
It's like, whoa, like, let's all freak out.
But he
over
won't
Tommen's
even come
defense
visit
here.
her, which is actually
Yeah, he-
more interesting.
Yeah, very interesting, and he won't meet with anyone.
Right.
Like he won't meet with anyone, and Qyburn's the only one that comes to see her.
And
And now
says something very interesting at the end of his visit.
he did, but before he said that, there was one other interesting thing, which is Kevin is back. Uncle Kev. Uncle Kev's back.
Yep, good old Kev.
And
old Kevin.
he is apparently in charge of the small council, and we know when he left, he was not interested in helping out Cersei when he left.
Yeah, and refuses to visit her now.
Yeah, and now he refuses to visit her. He's the head of the small council.
Yep.
There's no help coming, it doesn't look like. And
Right.
Qyburn's answer to her was like, there is a way out. You could confess.
Right.
Do you think she'll do
But,
that?
oh man, I think it depends on how desperate she gets.
Well, I guess it depends on the repercussions as well. Like, say if she confesses, what happens?
Right.
Well, yeah, she's apparently up for murder and
Incest.
fornication.
Yeah.
Fornication and incest.
Yeah.
Similar.
So not good stuff.
Yeah.
So do you think she'll confess, Xavier?
I don't think she will.
Think she'll stay strong?
I feel like there's got to be something a little. I mean, we're getting up to episode 9 next week. Like, I think heroic things and crazy things are about to happen. I don't think Cersei confessing is going to be one of those. I don't know. It's
Ooh.
Cersei we're talking
You think
about.
Cersei will confess?
I don't think she'll confess. I think she'll break out in some heroic way.
She'll break out.
I mean, she'll get out of the jail.
She'll get
yeah,
out, okay.
Without confessing.
Prediction?
Yeah, I don't see her confessing either. I'd be really shocked.
Yeah.
Unless it's how the season ends. Because I did say at the beginning of this season that this felt like
A Cersei
the season
season.
of Cersei. And it would be interesting that for the season to start the way it did with the flashback
Yeah.
and to have her be so powerful, and then we just watch her slowly crumble and crumble and crumble throughout this season, and it finally ends with her giving up. That would be very interesting to me.
I would be interested to see if she can use a confession in a way that suits her best. Because I
Right.
always see her twisting bad circumstances to benefit her.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she could do that here as
Right.
well.
So I guess it just depends on what will happen if she did confess. Like, does she go to jail? Is she killed? Is she, you know?
So Alison mentioned something
Oh, yeah.
about the last thing that Qyburn says as he walks out.
Oh.
The work continues.
The work continues. Whatever's under that sheet! What's under the sheet? Why haven't we figured that out yet? Will we know? Is this something that, like, they're gonna let go for 3 seasons and we're gonna have forgotten about it, and then, like, literally the last second of the show, they're gonna be like, and we've made Frankenstein!
Yeah.
Bah, bah,
Right.
bah,
Is it the
bah.
smoke monster from Lost where it's like,
Oh,
it's
man.
just a smoke
Yeah.
monster.
So it's like,
Yeah.
so I mean, I was convinced that it's the mountain, but I mean, why would he even bother to tell her that the work continues on the mountain? Like, how is it? How
Is he
does
like
it
a
work?
weapon of mass
Yeah,
destruction
the
or
mountain
something?
was, like, her champion, though, so,
Yeah. Yeah. Is the
Yeah.
mountain
Interesting.
going to smash down the walls and get her out?
yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So
Okay.
speaking of sort of trapped women, I guess, or trapped peoples, Theon tried to escape, and the Master found out.
Right. And then-
I got like some Gollum sense from Theon here. This is like the first time that I heard him talking about Theon and Reek in like a third person sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's
well,
a
he's
little,
kind
he's a
of
little bit
mentioned it
Gollum.
before.
Yeah, but he's like Theon tried to escape.
Yes.
But then
They
the
cut away
master
pieces
the master
till
cut away
Theon
till
didn't
Theon
exist.
didn't exist.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
truly a bang up performance by Alfie Allen. I mean,
Yeah.
every time he's on screen.
Yeah, even his all of his body movements are just completely defeated, right? Like
Right.
his eyes are planted on the floor, his shoulders are shrugged over, he makes no eye contact. Like he's just done such a good job.
He catches himself so well, you know, when he realizes that he about let slip that he didn't actually kill Bran and what's the other brother? Rickon.
Yeah.
Man, all
Yeah.
those Stark boys.
Yeah.
And then he catches himself and he stops, and then
can
Sansa
tell
like forces
he's
it
Well,
out of him.
terrified.
how dare you forget Rickon, who's had 2 lines in the, in the
Oh,
whole
dear
show.
sweet Rickon.
He's just absolutely petrified of Ramsay, you know, and you can see it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I thought it was really sort of a strong turn for Sansa to be sort of waiting for Reek to come in, and she was like, "Why?
Yeah.
Why did you tell him?"
Right.
And she, you know, his defense was like, "I was trying to protect you,"
Which
because
does
the master
kind
will know.
of make sense.
It does, in the
Yeah.
weird, twisted way. I could definitely see how Reek was trying to protect her, and in his mind, seeing her best interests because there's no escape. Especially
Right.
in Reek's mind, there's no escape.
But I think more importantly, in the last episode, was it the last episode? Yeah, Sansa found out that Jon was the Lord of the Night's Watch, and in this episode, she finds out that Bran and Rickon aren't dead. So I feel like Sansa is kind of when she was feeling so alone and feeling like she had no one but Littlefinger, now she's realizing that maybe her options are growing.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that that's both a good thing for her, probably makes her feel really good, but also probably makes her feel really bad because she was like, well, I have to go to Winterfell and get married to Ramsay to try to avenge my family because it's the only way.
Right.
And now she's like, you mean I probably could have found one of my brothers and
Yeah.
not had to do this thing?
Right.
Because that may have been good. May have been better
For sure.
to not do that. So where do we go from here, Xavier? Do you think that Theon is gonna come out?
I would
And-
like, even see if you guys notice when Sansa just like ripped into Theon. She's like, I wish all this. I'm glad if I could have
yeah.
had the opportunity, I would do the same things to you. And
Right.
Instead of Theon like disputing it, he just goes, "Yeah, I deserved it, and I deserve everything that I got." And then you could see this.
Such an entirely different human being than the Theon we saw in season
Sure,
1.
but did you see
Oh,
how Sansa's like facial expression sort of softened?
Yeah.
She was sort of like, geez, I can't stay mad at you. Like, I understand you've been put through torture, and you genuinely are sorry for what you did. I mean, that's what I
Well,
got
and I
from
think
it.
also the bomb that, hey, he didn't actually kill.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, he did go murder 2 farm boys, so
Yeah.
not
Right.
a great guy.
I know. It's like
you
they were just farm boys, and everyone's like,
farm boys. Nobody misses
If we
farm
don't
boys.
get some sort of massive redemption from either Sansa or Theon or both at the end of this episode, I will pull my hair out. That's the storyline that it just seems so tragic and so pitiful and so unredeemable that we need it to have some
Yeah.
amazing conclusion.
yeah.
Literally everything you just said,
Yeah.
I couldn't say it better. They're both at the bottom. And
Right.
one of them,
Yeah.
or
I
both
don't
of them
care
have
who it
to come
is.
up.
One of them has to grow some balls and kill Ramsay,
Yeah.
right? It
Or
wouldn't.
just get out.
We didn't see any payoff
Or
from the
just
thing
get
that she
out.
picked up, though, this episode. So
Yeah,
that's
she
out
still
there.
has that.
Which is still out there.
Apparently it was a corkscrew, which
Oh, it
was
was a
written in
corkscrew.
the comments. So thank you
Yeah,
to whoever
again.
wrote
I did
that.
say it looked like something to tap
Oh
a
yeah,
keg
and then the
with.
person wrote like big ups to you on that one, Alison.
Oh,
so,
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. that
See,
person.
there's those comments again
Glad.
using the hashtag WIC and, of course, commenting on our videos on all the places that you can watch them.
Thank you.
So thank you, guys.
Yes, please do that. I'm like, yes, what Adam said. Listen to that guy.
How is a man to know what a girl is going to see? I thought that was
Wow.
really cool.
You just sounded like Yoda right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I kind of screwed it up. All right,
yes.
look. All right. Everybody, pretend you rewound it, and I'm just saying it now. And I'll do it like this.
Yeah.
How is a man to know what a girl will see?
Great. That was
Very good.
even
Very
worse than the
good.
first
Very
time.
good. Yeah.
Thanks.
Very
I
good.
thought it was better.
I thought this was really cool because we all of a sudden get a realization as to what the many-faced God is. And it's this temple, of the man, the girl, and Arya, who is now another of the girl, who just take on different personalities to help.
Assassinate.
It seems like to take out
Yeah, are
the
they-
evil in this world.
Are they a benevolent force? I mean, like from this one instance, it looks like they're doing good and like they're Batman basically
Well,
right now.
I was also adding in Arya's case when she first met him.
Yeah, that's true. So the sample size increases. Yeah.
She helped him, and he was like, "You can give me the names of 3 people, and I will take them out for you."
But would he have taken them out even if they weren't bad people?
Touche. I don't know.
Because his rebuttal to the girl who I still don't know that we know her name.
Yeah.
But his rebuttal is like, hey, it really doesn't matter to the many-faced God, because they're talking about the gift, which is death. The gift for the many-faced God is death. It's the only gift apparently that matters. And his rebuttal to her was like, well, if she fails, I guess we'll kill her, or she'll die,
Or she'll
die
be dead,
because
yeah.
she'll have failed
So
in her
it's still
attempt.
a death.
So it's still a death. So the debt will be paid.
Right.
The many-faced God will get his.
So he's building like an empire of assassins. He's
Yeah.
just getting like, yeah, it's an
Adam, weren't you the
interesting-
one who said ninja training, or was that you?
Oh, yeah,
No,
that
Ninja
was
Training
me.
was over
You said
here.
ninja training. Yeah,
Ninja
she's
Training's
totally a
coming to
ninja.
fruition. Did anyone question? You know how when she was giving the guy, the gambler, the oysters?
Yeah.
Was that poison that she was squirting on?
No, that was vanilla.
Vanilla.
But then.
But now she's given
Now she
poison.
has she's
the
built up the
okay,
trust
yeah, I was
with
like,
the guy.
I was like, did she just run into that really early? I thought she had a little more recon to do before she.
Hey,
Yeah.
so what a lot of fun the editing was in this episode, though. That was really cool, where she was like telling the story,
to cut
and it
back
was
and
like,
forth?
yeah, it was cut back, and then she was like, and I turned left onto, and then he was like,
Yeah.
She's like, oh, okay, I turned left onto the other street. And then he's like, oh, by the way, now you're not going to turn left anymore.
You're
Yeah.
going to turn right.
Now you turn right.
Yeah.
Now she's a pretty looking girl.
I was saying, that was exactly what I was thinking, that it's kind of nice to see Arya be a girl. And when she's screaming out, oysters and cockles and shells or whatever it was, she sounded like a girl.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we've seen girly Arya.
And now she has a mission. She's sort of been given her first, I'm going to call it Bat mission. I think he's like Batman, and he's got his Robin, and he's got Batgirl. We're going to see all sorts of stuff. Sorry,
Totally.
I'm writing my own fanfic if you guys weren't keeping track from last week. I've got a wonderful one planned for Lord Adam. And his Bat family, apparently. But no, she's got her mission now, and her mission is to do an assassination,
Right.
I guess, I guess that's what you call it.
Cannot wait.
Yeah, so do you think she's going to go through with it?
Absolutely.
Yep. She's a weapon.
Yes.
She's a
Will
ruthless.
it be difficult for her?
Nope.
Something's going to go wrong.
Like emotionally, will it be difficult for her?
Oh, not emotionally, but I think something's going to go wrong that's going to put her in danger. And
Okay.
she's going to like have to rethink something.
But plan-wise, it could go wrong for her.
Yes.
What do you think? She gonna pull it off?
I think she'll
cinch?
I think she'll get the job done. I think she's still got a conscience, but I think she'll get the job done for sure.
Yeah, and
Either.
this was this was like life insurance scam, basically, right? From what I
Right.
gathered from this whole
Yeah.
situation. So I guess we need more Aryas in the world. Get rid
There we
of
go.
life insurance scams. I think that she may hesitate. I feel like why bring it up in the show if it isn't a possibility for her to hesitate. I think she'll pull it off, but I do think that there will be hesitation
Sure.
on her part. And I agree
Well,
with you
because-
that it wouldn't really make very interesting TV if something didn't at least go slightly wrong.
Right. I guess I can see the hesitation solely because this is the first time she would be killing someone that isn't on her vendetta list, or someone
Who's directly a threat to her.
Right, exactly. It's not a survival kill.
Yeah. I'm interested to see where she goes with that one. And kind of on that thought, for Arya, this is going to be difficult, but another scene talking about difficult choices, and I know you had some thoughts on this one, was Sam talking to Ollie, and of course he says, sometimes a man has to make difficult choices,
Why did you say that, Sam?
and sometimes they'll seem wrong to everyone else, but you know they're right.
And you know that Ollie's gonna take that advice totally wrong and do something that Sam totally didn't mean for him to do. Like, probably try to kill John, is what I'm guessing. Like, you could just see that happening. Like Ollie went in there wanting answers as to why John was doing what he was doing, but he wanted someone to be on his side, and Sam wasn't on his side, but then he gave him the right info.
He gave him
Sam, keep your mouth shut.
He gave him the right info to do the wrong thing.
Yes.
I mean, we've seen it before. It's like, hey, I need permission to go do the wrong thing. So whatever words you're going to tell me, I've twisted them into the way I need them
Yes.
to be.
Perfect.
Great.
Carry on.
I really think that this is going to end somewhere in like Ollie attempting to kill John, and either this is like our big death of this season and John dies, or John in turn has to kill Ollie, and then it's even more tragic for John because he has to kill this kid.
Yeah.
Right?
I could definitely.
We've already
yeah.
foreseen what's going to happen.
This is an Ollie John situation.
peace,
No,
Ollie.
but I think it would be difficult either way because let's say
Or Ollie's going to kill John and Sam's going to step in and die instead.
God, don't get upset yet.
man, this fanfic's
But
got interesting.
I feel like they've put, I don't know, they've put so much importance on Ollie. I feel like they've given him quite a lot of screen time. They've really put some importance with what he's all about, and I feel like it's going to come. I think you guys are right. Something's going to happen in the last couple, 2 episodes.
I think that
Yeah.
I think it's been foreshadowed enough
Yeah.
that I actually wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do anything with it because
Just
they would be
to-
like, hey, look over here, look over here, look over here, and then somebody
Yes.
else does something.
And then White Walker.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was some sort of red herring because they've sort of shown it all season long. Every
Yeah.
time the word wildling is said, it's like cut to Ollie.
Yeah.
Right.
But you think Ollie would have to have? He'd have to. It makes sense what Jon Snow's doing. There's obviously Ollie has his personal vendetta with the White Walkers, but on the greater scheme of things, it does make sense. Like it is a smart move.
Yeah.
So it's like
I think we all agree outside of it, it's a very smart move from a third party that's clearly not being attacked by White Walkers right
True,
now.
but I guess if they killed your family who are farmers, you'd be pretty angry about it.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing, and I think that there's a lot that could happen there, and I think you're right. If Ollie's sort of involved in something like that, and John catches him, and John does have to kill him, will the Night's Watch be on John's side? It would be very, very difficult.
Right.
Or Ollie tries to kill Tormund, and John has to step in. That
Yeah.
may be something where,
Or maybe in terms of your red herring, like a situation, it's like Ollie's gonna go kill them, but then like White Walkers come through and Ollie actually sacrificed himself for the greater good.
Yeah. Could be a lot
There's
of
so many options.
so many options.
At first, I honestly thought that none of those options would matter when we got to the end of this episode.
Yeah, well, this episode has a super large battle.
Yes.
One of the largest of Game of Thrones, obviously nowhere near as large as maybe the Battle of Blackwater Bay or the Wall from last season, but a very large battle. Tormund and Jon show up on the shores of Hardhome, and Lord of Bones is there, and I just really like the line where he's like, "Do you trust me, Jon Snow?" And he's like, "Does that make me a fool?" And he's like, "Well, we're fools together." And I was like, "That's cool. That's a great line." And then of course Tormund just kills the Lord of Bones.
That guy was a jerk anyway.
Yeah, he was a jerky jerk.
And
Whatever.
I mean, the thing is, like, you'd think the surrounding guards would have done something, or like, he just goes in, kills in front of everyone.
That's kind of the wildling way. It's sort of just like alpha male, and if someone's going to take control, the others let him, because it's not like the Lord of Bones was actually their leader. He was just another one of them.
Okay.
He just wanted to gather the elders and talk.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all he wanted. Just gather the elders and talk.
Yeah, true. I guess he wasn't being guarded as a king or anything like that, for sure.
So they do have their little talk, and I found it very interesting, and something I would say from a fan perspective, which is all we are anyways, but I really have liked the growth of Jon. We mentioned this about the beginning of the season, that
Kill the
Jon's
boy.
really starting to kill the boy and become the man, and I really have been digging that, because I do think that Jon has just gotten stronger as a character as the seasons have gone on, and especially this season. He presents the gift of dragon glass. And I really thought it was kind of fun when they were like, they're just rumors or stories, and it's like the giant ice spiders, and she's like, and the one warrior woman's, she's like, you don't believe those now after everything you've seen?
Yeah.
He's like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe.
Look at me. Yeah.
So they got the dragon glass. They seem to accept the gift, except for the Thens. And
Damn Thens.
yeah, and there's quite a few people that apparently don't accept it, because Jon makes mention, hey, look, we're not getting enough of them.
Right.
And I thought he did a really good speech trying to sort of rouse them, especially after he admitted that he killed Mance.
Yeah.
And Tormund sort of stepped
Right.
up. And he was like, look, we're never going to be friends. This isn't about friendship. This is about survival. And honestly, the Night's Watch can't handle the White Walkers. The Wildlings can't handle the White Walkers. The Kings can't handle the White Walkers. So only together do we even have maybe a chance.
Yeah.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool. And then, of course,
Winter arrives.
winter has come.
Winter is
Boy,
here.
man.
Winter's in.
I was like, what is happening? At first I thought, I was like, is there just going to be an avalanche? There's no way.
Yeah. Oh man, it
There's no way
took
there's
me
White
a
Walkers
while.
right now, right? And I was like, oh no, they got some White Walkers and the Army of the Dead, and all of a sudden Game of Thrones becomes an episode of The Walking Dead, and it is awesome.
It was really, really cool. And they were like, hey, this warrior woman that we just introduced, she's gonna die.
Yeah.
As soon as she had kids and she put them on the boat and said, like, I'll be right behind you, I was like, no, you're not.
Yeah, clearly.
Someone's obviously dying
clearly
this
not.
episode.
You know what I thought was actually gonna happen there, and shame on me, but I thought that they were gonna start to sail away, and the White Walkers were gonna come out of the water like the Stone Men and grab her kids. So, because when you were like, oh, something's gonna happen, I was like, I wonder if this is about to happen. Because that would
True, I thought when they set them off, it looked like, I was thinking it was going to explode or something. I'm like, something's going to happen,
Yeah.
But it's like, I wonder how many White Walkers shipped off in the boats and how many died on the shore. What do you think the ratio was there?
Oh, yeah, well, obviously, no White Walkers, but probably whites.
Oh, sorry, wildlings.
Oh,
Sorry, how many
wildlings.
wildlings made it off on the boats? And
Well,
how
they
many were
said
stuck?
they were only taking about 5,000 who wanted to go.
Yeah.
If they even got that many on the
So
boats before they left.
I would say it's less than 5,000 that they actually got.
Yeah, so this crazy battle erupts, and the whites are just everywhere. The whites being sort of the zombies, basically.
They're-
Rights?
Ru-
With an R?
With an R? I thought they were whites. Whites. With a
Like spelled like the color?
like a cool whip. No, like
Like a
W
cool whip.
like WIGHTS.
Oh, I thought that was WRIGHTS. Wow. Don't
They're-
listen to me. He's the one who knows
Whites-
more than I do.
they're the
whites,
whites.
the whites and the
What-
White
yeah.
Walkers.
Yeah,
It's kind
the
of
whites and the
confusing.
whites and the White Walkers. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is very confusing.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. The zombies show up.
Yeah.
If you want to call them whites, White Walkers, rights. That doesn't really matter. They were zombies, and they were
The zombies.
eating people. Yeah, eating people, cutting on people, attacking people. But they were kind of like to me, they were using some weapons, right? Like some of them
Well,
had.
because they died
they're
with
doing
weapons
all-
in their hands.
Doing
Yeah.
all this and not prepared to get into like a little bit of water either, as Jon Snow and the boat were only about like 15 feet away from the shore, and they're just like, well, there they go. Let's just let them go.
I wonder
Would
though
you-
if it wasn't deliberate.
I mean,
Oh,
Because
totally-
clearly a
yes.
show by the Night's King there when he was
you
just
guys
like,
just stared at me like I was like, did I just say the wrong names or something?
Honestly,
I'm like,
Xavier, I stared at you because I didn't realize you had jumped to the end of the battle.
yeah,
I
was
I
thinking
went
about,
there.
That's why I was like, where
thanks,
is he? And then
Xavier.
I was like,
Hey, I
right,
got
right,
excited.
We're at the end of the battle
I got
now,
excited.
guys.
You don't have to stare at me like I'm an idiot. But I think you're right. Anyway, we can jump back a little bit.
Yeah, thanks.
Jesus,
Yeah,
I'll
we're
be
gonna-
over here.
so-
I was gonna say, I think the only reason these guys aren't actually zombies is because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears to me that the progression here is that these zombie-like things kill people, the people die, but then the White Walkers raise them up from the dead. So it's not like zombies where you get bit by a zombie and you turn into a zombie.
yeah,
Correct?
and I believe it's
Right.
the indication in the blue eyes because you're basically under the control
Yeah.
of them,
Right.
of the White Walkers, and we see the White Walkers. We see the White Walker, the
Yes.
Night's King, who we saw last season with the baby with
Right.
Craster's baby. Real scary stuff. And then the Then, and I'm sure he has a name, and someone will tell me what it is. But the Then and John go in there, and I actually thought it was a really cool moment because the Then was like, "Go get the dragon glass."
Yes.
And I was like, "Oh, they kind of teamed up
They
here
had their
for a
moment.
moment."
They had their moment.
And then the Then was like dead real fast, and we discover, of course, that mortal weapons are of no use against the White Walkers.
But Valerian steel. Yes, I knew when the very beginning of the episode when they're like previously on Game of Thrones and they cut back to like season 1 and they're like it's made of Valerian steel. I'm like, that's important.
Yeah.
Wink.
Yeah. Let's remember that, audience.
Yeah. So very, very cool. Obviously, Valerian steel has the same or similar effects to dragon glass, or
Yes.
at least helps out in killing the darn things. Because I think we saw when Sam stabbed it exploded, didn't it?
Yes.
So I think, I would say very similar.
Yes.
Effect, if not the same. And Valerian steel, of course, was forged by the Valerians, who are now met the doom.
Yep.
And we've lost the ways to make it, although apparently Tywin found somebody that could forge it and remake it for Oathkeeper and Widowmaker.
Yeah,
the
for
two-
Joffrey.
Yeah, for Joffrey
Right.
and for Jaime, who gave the sword to Brienne. Right.
That was some sword legacy that just
Yeah,
went on
yeah.
Yeah,
there.
sword legacy just happened.
Yeah.
I think the thing though that you noted, besides the fact that they like barely escaped,
Yeah.
and man, was I glad that Ed was still alive. I know that we probably don't get to hear his name too often, but Ed is the reoccurring Night's Watchman that you've seen a number of times hanging
Right.
out
Loyal
with Pip
man.
and Gren. Very loyal. And
I
man, was
thought
I
he-
glad
I
he was
thought he was
alive.
toast in
yeah,
that house.
I
Yeah.
thought he was dead. I thought we were going to see him as a White Walker, or as a White, or a Right, or a zombie.
Yeah.
Whatever. But very cool, as you mentioned at the end, when he's just sort of like silently ride.
Oh yeah, he
Yes.
totally was like, look at my power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at all these people who are now part of my army. Oh snap.
Yeah. Well, it is about time to get into some fan questions. We've made a lot of comments about the fan questions about you folks watching out there, and of course you have written in some very amazing stuff. So let's get into it. The first one from Twitter is from @CherylMcInnes58. She says, "What about all the very smart barking dogs we saw? Are they White Walkers now too?"
Ooh. Did she put in hashtag snowdog?
Hashtag
That's
snow dog.
So many questions
Amazing.
are right.
Is that with Cuba
Yeah.
Gooding? Snow
yeah,
dog?
right. That's an interesting question. Have we seen that the White Walkers have animals? They have the horses.
Yeah, they got the horses.
But do they have other animals?
I don't know, but I would say horses leads me to believe that yes,
Yeah.
those dogs are now whites or zombie dogs,
Unless those dogs got away, because let's be honest, dogs are really good swimmers, so they might have swam to the boats.
and
And
they got fur.
side
They
question,
won.
and we just saw the giant just walk off into the walk
Yeah.
off into the sunset.
That
too.
giant was rad.
That was really cool. And then he
Yeah.
was just like, "I'm going out here now."
Yeah.
So
He's
see ya.
like, all you guys are so annoying.
Yeah.
Will you get off my back?
You know what's going to be really crazy? Speaking of things that can become whites, what happens when we see a giant become a
Yeah,
white?
thank goodness that guy didn't
Oh,
die.
man.
Yeah, they were like, "Get him out of here now!"
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you escaped.
By the way, I love that this giant got one line in the entire 15-minute long battle scene, and it involved him like cursing at a
Yeah.
at a,
That's someone that didn't even understand him. That's
Yeah,
I have no idea
exactly.
what
He's
you're
like,
saying.
yeah, cool.
He's like, "I don't know what you're saying, but I get it."
Yeah.
yeah.
So great question from Cheryl McGinnis. Thank you so much. Our next question comes from @DianaTucker, who asks, "Where's Benjen? Hashtag WIC, hashtag hard home, hashtag winter is here."
Winter is here.
Winter is here. I like that one. I like
I like
that
that she
hashtag.
included a picture too.
Yeah, so Benjen Stark, if you guys don't know out there or don't remember, quite honestly, because that's probably the thing that you don't remember, is that Benjen Stark, Ned Stark's brother, Jon Snow's uncle. And Benjen's the one that comes down and is like, "Hey, Jon, you would make a great Night's Watchman. Why don't you come up here?" And then Jon went up there, and then Benjen, who was the first ranger, or was he the first ranger?
Yeah.
I'm sure someone will correct me. He was with the Rangers. They went out to go
Yeah.
do a scouting mission. None of them returned, except for 2 who came back dead and then reanimated as whites. And that was when Jon fought the one in the Lord and Commander's
Stop
chamber.
saying what?
Whites? Stop saying it. Anyways,
Whites.
where's Benjen? That's a
Wraiths?
great question. Wraiths?
Are they wraiths? Man, I don't know. Now I'm just confusing all sorts of fantasy in my head.
So anyways, Benjen Stark
Yeah.
is
That's a good que- that's
he's
a good
out
question.
there.
That's
It's a
a-
great
that's
question
a-
because we've never gotten any resolution from it.
Yeah.
And now would have been a perfect time to resolve it where Benjen just pops up. You
As a White Walker?
You know what? One of you guys pointed out that somebody in the boat was cloaked.
Yeah.
And was just
I was
sitting
freaked
there.
out when Jon hopped in the boat and they had this cloaked dude there.
Showing-
I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
Why is that cloaked guy? Is he going
Showing
to
no emotion, like walking
Yeah.
away from like a
But
burning
then they
building
actually
without.
like
just rose away.
when Jon stood up to like look back at the shore, they showed a shot. You could see his face, and he looked like a normal human.
But what if he
being.
would have been like, "I'm Benjen Stark"?
Well,
Yeah.
I just thought he was going to be one of the dead, and
Yeah.
then they were bringing the dead to the boats, and then they were all screwed.
The great mystery of where's Benjen Stark. It is not just a mystery in the show. It is in the
Yeah.
books as well. But we really appreciate the question from Diana, and it is really fun to speculate. And now would have been the time to bring him back as a white.
Why?
That's the last time.
Yeah, sure. That's the last one. Our last fan question comes from @AskyLark. Trying to count up all the Valyrian steel swords I know. Stannis has one. Brienne has one. Any others?
By the way, that name is To a Skylark. I don't know what you were saying.
2?
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it can't be.
there's a 2 in front of it.
Well, that may have just been a typo. Who knows? Anyways, thanks for the question. And the question is, of course, about Valyrian steel swords. I remember.
Well, you already gave a really nice family tree.
I'm
of
gonna
them.
let you guys do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, okay, so Jon obviously has one. Rob had one.
No.
What? Oh, Ned had one.
Ned had one, yep.
Ned had one, and
Jamie
that's the
gave
one
one
they.
to Brienne.
Oh, but Ned had it was a huge one, right?
Yeah.
It was a two-handed
Yep.
broadsword. So that's the one they melted down and made into 2 swords. One Joffrey got, and one Brienne of Tarth.
Jamie got but gave to Brienne.
Yeah.
Right.
That one's Oathkeeper.
Right.
If
Is that
Stannis has
all?
one, I didn't. Do we? Oh, we do know that because he does get that in the show. Sorry, I don't recall if he
Let
did
us
that in the
know.
show or not.
Everyone
Yeah, why
at
don't you
home,
guys let us know
tell
how many
us.
swords you guys count up?
That's all.
and,
Where are more Valyrian steel swords?
Yeah, look in the comments below. I'm sure there won't be any spoilers for those of you that haven't read the books.
Right.
You know.
Was,
but thanks.
was Needle Valyrian steel?
No.
No.
Okay.
For a while though, I did think that.
Right.
Anyways, thanks so much for the questions, guys. Using the hashtag WIC.
Yep.
Our final thoughts. Our quick lightning round. Here we
Yep.
go.
All right.
Who do you guys think will be dead at the end of this season?
Oh,
Who's not
man.
going to make it to the
Yeah.
end of the season 5?
Okay, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna put out Jon. I feel like Jon could be our big one.
All right.
I feel like Jon
That
could
would
be
be
our big
huge.
one. It would be huge, but there's always like one massive. We haven't. Did we have a massive one last season? I feel like because it's been 2 seasons since we had Rob and Catelyn.
Oberyn and Tywin.
Yeah, but Oberyn and Tywin aren't like.
Yeah,
It's more
loved.
like when they kill a Stark. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like season
killing any
1.
Starks lately?
Season 1 was Ned. Season 3 was Rob and Catelyn. Season 5 could be Jon. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I'd be super freaking bummed because I really want Jon to meet up with Daenerys. But I could see, now that I know where this whole Ollie thing is going, I could see that. Who else could be dead? Hopefully Ramsay. Ooh, I could possibly see like Theon dying, killing Ramsay so Sansa can escape. Fingers crossed,
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, sacrificing himself.
Right?
All right.
I think,
Xavier, what do you
yeah, we'll cut this up.
Yeah,
a
slow
second.
down here.
I'd
All
say
right? Stop
I-
killing
I
the whole
like
cast.
Remy, yeah.
Stop
I
killing the
agree.
whole cast.
I'm just thinking maybe Jorah and his grayscale.
Oh,
all
absolutely.
The fighting
Jorah's
pits.
dead by the end of
I'm
this
just throwing
too.
that one in
Yeah.
there. What do
Yeah.
you think, Bus?
I think somebody in Stannis' camp. I'm really curious to know if it's going to be Shireen or Selyse.
What about Davros?
Davos, interesting point. I don't think it's going to be Davos,
Right.
but I do think that Shireen or Solis, and the reason I'm saying Solis is because we know that royal blood or king's blood needs to be used. Solis doesn't
Right.
necessarily have that, but I'm wondering if Stannis would be like, look, we're not going to sacrifice my daughter. I'm cool with my wife, though.
Yeah,
you can have her.
She's being kind of.
That's-
Ooh,
nice.
I'm going to throw one more in there. I'm throwing in one more. Tommen dying of a broken heart.
Oh, sad tear.
Or taking his own life. Just made it way more sad. Okay. Next question.
Who's you guys' favorite killer in Game of Thrones?
Ooh.
Lots of killers.
I'm gonna say Bronn would be mine. Just to give you a quick one.
That's a quick one.
Yep.
That's a quick one. I'm gonna go with Jaime Lannister,
All right. Yeah.
Oh.
but that's probably like a favorite, character.
He definitely has
type
the
thing.
coolest name.
Yeah, I would say Tyrion is a pretty awesome killer.
Yep.
Just because he's the unexpected one.
I'm going to go Arya, only because her deaths, like, she's a kid and she managed to
yeah,
get these
that is
deaths
rad.
solved. And now I feel like she's going to be doing even cooler stuff.
Yeah.
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 All
Now
great.
she's-
All.
Now she's a ninja.
Yeah.
she's a ninja.
Now she's a ninja, yes.
What would you guys have done when the Army of the Dead showed up?
Peed my pants.
Yeah. I'd like to. I would like to think that I would run to prevent them getting through the wall, but swimming away would have been very appealing as well.
I feel like we sat around for a long time watching the ice come down, and I'd have been like, maybe somebody should yell run. And run
Yeah.
or swim or get on boats.
And you love how
or
they would
anything.
just like cut the gate, like shut the gate. Just don't worry about those people.
Yeah,
just
shut the
it.
gate.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. And they were just all like, "Hey, let's stare at that thing for a while. What do you think's happening?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think the bad thing that we see is bad?
Yeah.
I probably would have made it. I mean, this is me pretending like I'm this brave, but let's pretend I'm brave. And my move probably
That's a
would have
lot of
been.
pretending.
Yeah, I know. My move probably would have been run and get the dragon glass, because I at least was like.
That would have been a smart move.
That's how my brain would have worked logically. I would have been like, that stuff's supposed to work. Let's get that.
Smart
So,
move.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Good
Cool.
move. Those are our final thoughts. We would love to know your final thoughts. Don't hesitate to tell us in the comments below or above or to the side, wherever those comments may be on whatever site you're watching. Speaking of, make sure you check us out on winteriscoming.net. Make sure you check us out on EW. And now we're on the YouTubes, on Entertainment Weekly's YouTube as well. So make sure you're watching all of those places. On behalf of myself, Alison, Xavier, big thank you. And of course, a big thank you to the Stream.tv and FanSided who make this show possible. We'll see you guys next week. Bye!
Thank you.
Winter has arrived.
Winter is here.